Hey, welcome to this preview video of the Italian Serie A match day 32, starting at the 8th of April 2022. And we're going to check out this, as we always do, with the assistance of my Betmaster Tool that you can also get your access to if you follow the link in the description. And the feedback is amazing, in fact, and I think you will appreciate it as soon as you try it for the first time. What I would like to say is that you can happily ask your questions if there are any doubts. I mean, I agree or I admit that the user interface maybe is not perfect, but also the help functions, and so they are intended here, but I thought I wanted it to make so I can use it and get all the functionality in that is needed in the end or in the long run, or and still there's some more to come, but also I would like to be able to use it so I can do my daily work, so to say, and do the help functions later, which makes it more usable for you and easier to handle and so on. And maybe wrong way to go, but I was sure I needed it to be able to work it, also to present it to you, right? So and this, I'm another step ahead, so to say, of my own development, because I implemented an Excel version, which is not the full or final version of what you will get in the future, but the statistical method that's compiling the prices or the goal expectancies, like it does the Betmaster Tool, but this one is based on the stats they played at, and the goals that have been scored are only partly included, because of course it still matters whether you take your chances, but it's more important to create them in the first place, right? How many did you create? And I'm doing this on plenty of those stats because I try to get a wider area of parameters, so to say, that drive who's going to score a goal. It's not, an accurate pass doesn't score you a goal, but still it means something. If you play plenty of those accurate passes, you will come closer to goal, obviously, right? And I can predict, so to say, how many of these accurate passes or attacks or dangerous attacks or corners these teams are going to have, which is done by the same algorithms as I've compiled, as I'm compiling the goal expectancies in this Betmaster Tool based on the results. The same algorithms apply for the shots, so to say, on target. How many did they achieve? I'm keeping track of that. I have expectancy values for every team, and I have to use both teams' values, home and away, and so on, and then do this calculation. And also afterwards I can compare, which I've done plenty of times. But I'm not going to do this now. I'm only explaining partly my algorithms also to make them a bit more trustful to you. And I think, I'm absolutely certain, of course, it's the best you can get, and I've been using it for many years, and it's done its excellent job as well, on a level that I expected or couldn't expect any better. Here we would have an indication, maybe on Spezia to win. We compare this here with market. There's an average price 3.75 would be enough, but we have to confirm this here. But in fact, I would somehow approve here, and in fact here the statistical method sets more or less the same, although a little bit more for Empoli, a little bit less for Spezia, but still would be good enough for a bet on Spezia. I think Empoli also lost a bit their shape, and also at home 9 defeats is more than expected. They have 4 away wins, which is more than expected. It's of course just reading some stats, 4 to 10, are they good, are they bad? You do not know in the first place, but if you compare it to what you expected, which the computer always does, then you see, okay, 4 away wins, they are actually okay, because I expected only 3.14. And same thing here, 9 home defeats are going along And the goals Spezia scored away from home are not on the level I expected. I expected 18.5 and they scored only 16, but I expected them to concede 37. No, 36.64, and so here I was right, more or less. They scored 23, which is fine, more than expected, but they conceded 38, which is more than expected. Anyway, statistical method approves here, so we have a bet here on Spezia. Of course, you can still check with your understanding of football. And the recent shape and so on, and table needs and whatever you want to. But they lost their shape with 4 losses, 4 draws. They are in decent shape with 2 wins, 1-0 over Venezia, very typical, but also beating Cagliari. But anyway, 2 wins in 3 games is still, well, not an awful shape. And points, they have 32, they have 33, so Empoli coming into the danger zone as well after a pretty decent start. And of course everything to play for. Spezia have some decent chance, they played okay. Inter against Verona, usually you can't go with the big favorites, but going against them looks a bit curious here. It doesn't fully approve, whereby especially Verona are the side maybe that most impressed, they most beat their expectancies, so to say, and they surprised, and they are not losing their shape as well. And win over Genoa, I watched this one. Draw here, okay, losing to Napoli can happen. Before that's 4 more games. Inter not in the best shape. Winning away at Juventus was great, of course. Penalty, controversial anyway, and 1 goal only. But before that, couldn't beat these 2. Struggling a bit, beating Salernitana, easy one. Before that, 4 without the win. So struggling. Still in the long run, they are still okay. Also concerning the goals they scored and conceded. But they, of course, are in that sense the best side. So it would make some sense to go with the away side. If you want to check out here the double chance, there is a 3.12, and we compare this one with the market. If we get better than that, but still, I would somehow agree that that Inter kind of last exit, right? To maybe still challenge. Well, the title can't be gone for them, right? By any means. I mean, Milan are not the side they needed to most fear. Napoli also still there, but 4 points and a game in hand, so everything at stake, everything to play for. But also for Verona, in a certain sense of Europe, defending this and so on, attacking it maybe here. But anyway, everyone would try to compete with Inter. So some just to show you that you have more markets here, double chance, 3.12. We get better than that. So we can go with Verona, but of course I understand as well that it's time for Inter now. And they are exceptionally good, but also Verona, they're not losing their shape. We have an indication somehow here on Juventus, which sounds a bit funny. I would instantly go for it as soon as I get improvement here, which is not given. This one agrees more to market. So I'm happily not going for Juventus, although I would somehow feel they are going to win there, right? They have a very, very good squad. I saw that 90 minutes against Inter. Shouldn't have lost anyway. But of course it's a very, very good league, and they are all of them up there are excellent. But I can't bet it, so no bet here. Genoa against Lazio, if we get better than 190, we may consider, but here we may get easily contradiction, which is the case, that the statistical method does not approve to Lazio, and so we don't bet Lazio by any means. And of course you can ask your intuition. Genoa recently lost for the first time after 7 also unbeaten with just a single win. They lost 1-0, still unlucky 5 minutes, and many games not conceding, not scoring, and so on. So very, very, what is the goal difference? 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 in 8 games. 3-3, less than 1 goal per game. Not that they scored, but that had been coming. Anyway, we don't go with Lazio because it's not approved, and by intuition also Genoa are fighting for the against relegation, so to say, and Lazio struggling all season. So Napoli may be indicated. We can compare this here. Most likely we don't get an improvement here, which is the case. So market also pretty good on that one. But we already know that Fiorentina are playing an excellent campaign, and Napoli recently more and more struggling somehow, and they won a couple of games, but close wins. Anyway, why do I say struggling? I mean, they are still in contention for the title and everything fine for them. But tough games all over, and Fiorentina are obviously a lot better than I expected. So on. Which you can also see if you want to compare it here. Napoli played at 243. I expected them 199, so they are actually pretty good. And Fiorentina 117, 129. They also overperformed, so to say. But there would be even some point in going with Napoli, but the statistical method even anyway tells us not to do so. So we don't do it. If we get a very good price on Atalanta, we could actually go with this one. 199 looks like fair enough. I mean, it's good enough. 167, but we have to compare it here as well. And of course, I'm trying to because if you watch this and you say, okay, I might want your tool, but I want this implemented into the tool. I can promise we will get there, but it may take a little time. And also the method that is applied at the moment is very, very sensible. It's sensible, senseful. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's very good, usable. And results are, in fact, what matters. This is just a second method to maybe compare or adjust your prices here or there. Maybe even as we have here as well, a proof market. And of course, I watched many games from Sassuolo, and they are excellent. Like Verona, somehow not quite on that same level, but playing here, you see that they lost at Lazio 2-1, and Atalanta, yeah, they are really struggling. I was pretty sure they are good, but here you see minus, here you see minus points and goals, no good. They did what I expected, and here they are even better. So in fact, we can't go with Atalanta. Also in view of the statistical method, if we want to see the margin of adjustment that is possible, we can check out here. We see 153 is less than 166, 1.1 is better than 0.96. So I could do the adjustment right away. And in fact, I'm going to do it here, or do I? Because I have to go in a minute. And here we see that's 150, so that does approve. And who are they playing? Sassuolo, that's 1.09. So both of them are somehow approved by the statistical method. So I could go with Atalanta to 153 maybe, and with Sassuolo to 1.1, 1.09 or something like that. And that I would do right away for you. I was certain about Atalanta, and but from then on somehow they disappointed, and so I make it 150, which is also approved by the statistical method. And Sassuolo we go to 1.09 maybe, or 1.08 maybe, something like that. And we are going to store this. Sorry. So I also want to encourage you to maybe just adjust those settings the way I've just been doing it as soon as you have your access here, and then you will, well, get different prices, but in many cases you can go to stepping closer to market, because you say no, this 167, it's simply too low. You can also have, right now we have 190, which is still then a bet at 199. Yeah, in fact, why not, right? I mean, we've done our adjustment, and 199 is still pretty decent. Now we get even 2.07, which is funny. Of course, that's not a very good sign if you get a better price than, because if market, so to say, also has something to say in that, and what it does say here, it's we bet on against Atalanta, so to say, right? That's why the price on we bet on Sassuolo, so that's why you get a better price. And here we also see that it's a bit worse chances, less chances, which I've adjusted now. It's coming a lot closer here. But anyway, 199 is still quite some margin. And why in fact not? I mean, still they are fighting for Europe and everything, Champions League and so on, which I'm pretty sure of. And I would have a bet there. Maybe still a bet, right? In Venezia, Udinese, it doesn't look like one. In Roma, Salernitana, of course, 121 by no means, and also one. If there were 131, we might consider Torino against Milan. Do we have an indication? Maybe even on Milan, 2.1. Most likely, the statistical method would tell us, no, let this one go, and it does. So we let it go, and no bet on Milan, but still for the fancy man, so to say, with these settings. And of course, it makes certain sense because Milan are on top. Maybe they can hold on and maybe even win the title. And here Bologna Sampdoria might possibly be a draw, which is not most likely. Well, 350. If you get a price like that, we can compare it here as well with the what is the average price on the draw. It is in fact pretty okay. So they played plenty of draws here, and so it would make a certain sense. Bologna against Sampdoria, 341. Well, take it for the it's just marginally indicated. We can also check it out with the, here I expected 7.67, they had 7 draws. I expected 8.22, we had only 5 draws, so these two teams are not the ones that like the draw. So we remove it, of course, because we don't even have an edge, and it's very, very marginal. And so we have these 3 bets that are remaining, which of course are, well, good prices. You do not hit so often. If you hit them, you make a lot of money. I mean, you win more than in the long run, and so on, more than you lose. So thank you very much for watching, and bye bye. See you soon.